What's going on, my Centurion Galaxy? It's the Central Man here, so back again with another classic WrestleMania pay-per-view review. I know WrestleMania is over in our current timeline, so this is a post-classic WrestleMania pay-per-view review. So this time I'm going to review WrestleMania 22 at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois on the 2nd of April 2006. The attendance for the show was 17,155. The buy rate for the show was 975,000 pay-per-view buys. Really a downgrade than Mania's 21 show because it was, at Staples Center. It was in Los Angeles, California. WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. That show received about a 1.9 million pay-per-view buys. And then the following year's WrestleMania at Ford Fields in Detroit. They also received another million pay-per-view buy rate. It was Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon. Battle of the Billionaires. The commentators for the show, we got JR and the King on Raw. Joey Styles also joining JR and the King on commentary for the Mick Foley versus Edge match later on the show. And on SmackDown, we got Michael Cole and Taz. Sadly, this is the final WrestleMania in a traditional arena, basketball or hockey arena. Until WrestleMania 36, because they did it at the Performance Center between 23 and 35. They end up doing it in the football fields, the American football fields. And now in our current timeline, recently we did WrestleMania 37 did at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. So they end up doing it at traditional American football fields instead of these traditional basketball or hockey fields. Yeah, they did WrestleMania 19 in a baseball field, but that's just the one and only time. But I don't know why they end up not doing it in a MGM Grand in Las Vegas or the Staples Center in Los Angeles or Allstate Arena in Chicago or even Madison Square Garden. Yeah, we're not going to see it at WrestleMania in a traditional arena ever again until Vince McMahon passed away. I think the reason why they're doing that, I think they attempt to break, this is my theory, I think they attempt to break the WrestleMania free attendance, the 93,000, that was at the Pontiac Dome way back in 1987. It could be, I don't know, but anyway, so, and also this is the final WrestleMania with Raw and SmackDown before ECW joined, it was the final WrestleMania with the two branded shows until, I'm guessing, Mania 26, because 23 to 25 they end up doing a trio branded WrestleMania, with ECW as the third brand. They end up revived later on in the year. Anyway, so the first match to kick off WrestleMania 22, we got the World Tag Team Title match. Big Show and Kane defended the tag team titles against Carlito and Chris Masters. This is a head cheese booking, man. Head cheese booking. Because, Head Cheese, the tag team in the Attitude Era in the year 2000 between Al Snow and Steve Blackman, two different two different wrestlers with, because Al Snow is the guy with the mannequin, the head mannequin, and Steve Blackman is the martial arts guy, just basically weird tag team pairing, because Carlito is biting apples and spitting apples, and Chris Masters, he flex, he's a big bodybuilder. The Masterpiece, Masters' gimmick is basically a knockoff to Lex Luger's Narcissus gimmick in the 90s. Anyway, the match was okay, but it was a wrong match to kick off WrestleMania 22. It's just a standard match, nothing special. In the end, Master was about to cheap shot Kane with the axe handle, but he accidentally hit Carlito instead. Kane hit the choke slam onto Carlito to win this match, and Kane and Big Show retain the tag team titles. They end up dropping the titles to the Spirit Squad, I think it was a month later or a few weeks later, and then they did the whole storyline with Kane, May 19th with the fake Kane, because at the time, of course, Kane was released his horror movie, See No Evil. Carlito and Masters, they end up breaking up on the show. They end up feuding, and that was it. That was just a random tag team partnership. Head cheese booking, I call it. Al Snow, Steve Blackman, random pairing. Anyway, the next match we got the second annual Money in the Bank ladder match. They did the first one at Mania 21 the previous year, won by Edge. The competitors in this Money in the Bank ladder match, we got Matt Hardy, Shelton Benjamin, RVD, Finlay making his WrestleMania debut, Bobby Lashley the same making his WrestleMania debut, and Ric Flair. Out of the three ladder matches between 21 and 23, this is the weakest. Out of the 21 and 23, I think they're the strongest. That's just me. Don't know about 24. Haven't reviewed WrestleMania 24 yet. Anyway, you had some good spots. You had Shelton Benjamin did the somersault off the ladder, did this pattern plunger onto the other competitors. Matt Hardy suplexed Ric Flair off the ladder. Flair was selling it. He's holding his knee. I don't know if he hurt his knee in the process. He ended up coming back in this match later on. You had I think Matt Hardy hit the side effect off. I think it was on Finlay. I'm guess hit Finlay with the with the side effect off the ladder. RVD did the 5-star frog splash off the ladder. He had some fun spots, but like I said, it's not on the same level as 21 was good. I'm talking about the first Money in the Bank ladder match, and then 23 was also fun. With Jeff Hardy did the swanton bomb off the tallest ladder onto Edge. That was cool. In the end, there was two ladders. You got RVD, Matt Hardy, and Shelton Benjamin. They were fighting on ladders. RVD's on one ladder. Benjamin and Hardy on the other. RVD kicked knocked the one ladder off with Hardy and Benjamin on it, and they took that tumbling off out of the ring. In the end, RVD grabbed the briefcase and became the second ever Mr. Money in the Bank. It was good. I think the two competitors could probably win this match. Will probably RVD and Shelton Benjamin. Matt Hardy, no, because after they buried Matt Hardy in the feud with Edge, in the summer and the autumn of 2005. Finlay, no. Ric Flair, maybe. Bobby Lashley, absolutely not. He became ECW champion later on in the year. I think the reason why he got that push because of the success of the 2005 One Night Stand show. They got a good buy rate. I think they've received about 325,000 pay-per-view buys. And this is RVD's first WrestleMania since Mania 20 because he missed 21 due to a knee injury. And I'll tell you what happened next to RVD if I review One Night Stand 2006. That's for another time. So I think this match should have kicked off WrestleMania 22 instead of the tag team title match. That's just me. The next match we got Chris Benoit taking on JBL. Chris Benoit defending the United States title against JBL with Jillian Hall, who at the time was JBL's PA in his corner. The match was decent. JBL got booed, and also trying to attempt to hit the Three Amigos, and the fans booed when JBL hit the Two Amigos because at the time it's been a few months since Eddie died. He died in November, and the previous evening Eddie got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. JBL did the Two Amigos. About to go for the third. Benoit kind of blocked it, did punch and kick JBL in the gut, and then I think Benoit hit JBL with the Three Amigos, and they popped for Benoit because everyone knows Benoit and Eddie are close friends. I think Eddie's death was planting the seeds of Benoit's double murder suicide in 2007. So in the end, the ending was so creative. Yeah, and also one more of the match, you had JBL using Jillian Hall as a shield. That you do it sometimes, heel using the female valet as a shield. Because did that spot they were chasing each other in the ring. The heel using the valet as a shield. That was good. They do it to this day. I don't mind it. It's not really hurt this match. So, in the end, the ending was so creative. Benoit locked JBL with the cripple crossface, but JBL countered it into a pin and holding the rope as leverage without the referee noticing. Again, JBL won this match and become the new United States champion. This is his first singles title win since winning the WWE title way back in 2004. Had that proper run with the title between 2004 and 2005. He dropped it to John Cena at the previous year's WrestleMania. And also his title reign was very short. He ended up dropping the title back to Benoit, and then Benoit probably dropped the title to someone else. Can't remember. Is it Lashley? I think it was Bobby Lashley. Yeah, he dropped. I think it was Bobby Lashley. And then he ended up winning the title back in, I'm guessing, like late 2006. And then he dropped the title to MVP in 2007 at Judgment Day. And then that led up to Benoit, what he did in real life. So, yeah, JBL's reign was very short. I wish he had a proper reign as the United States champion, because I think he was doing a whole video package of the Mount Rushmore with the past presidents. It's a damn shame. It's just he could be like this skit doing the president skits, with Jillian Hore and the cabinet as bodyguards, and I think they've missed the boat on that. So he ended up winning another title again in 2009. The IC title against CM Punk, and he dropped it to Mysterio at Mania 25 3 years later. So yeah, decent match. And also JBL ended up being in the world title picture at the first SmackDown pay-per-view after WrestleMania. It was Judgment Day 2006 in May of that year. I covered that channel pay-per-view last year on this channel. Go and check it out. So moving on to the next match. That was match number 3. Yeah, match number 4 we got Edge versus Mick Foley. This is a hardcore fight. Because Edge was the world champion in the start of 2006 because he cashed in the briefcase onto John Cena after Cena retained the title in the Elimination Chamber match at New Year's Resolution 2006. Another pay-per-view I covered in the past, go and check it out. He gave the briefcase to Vince McMahon, beat Cena for the title, and him and Lita did a sex celebration on Raw. I think they got a good rating because everyone knows sex sells. And then Cena won the title back from Edge at the Royal Rumble. I'm guessing like Mick Foley was the special guest referee, and then he blames his loss to Mick Foley, and also he brags and because Mick Foley never had a WrestleMania moment because he had a lot of matches. Mick Foley, not a lot, but some matches at WrestleMania. I think he had 5 matches because I think his first WrestleMania was Mania 13 in '97. It was a tag team match. Him and Vader taking on Bulldog and Owen. Don't know about 18, 19 he was against the Big Show. That was ended at DQ. He was in a fatal 4-way, at Mania 16. And then at the last WrestleMania he competed was Mania 20 at Madison Square Garden 2 years ago in 2004. 2-on-3 handicap match. Evolution versus Rock and Sock Connection. Him and The Rock taking on Evolution. Joey Styles was in the commentating team for JR and the King because the reason why Joey Styles was there was filling for Jim Ross in his absence because he suffered a colon. He was recovering from a colon surgery. I don't know if he had cancer. I don't know. He was filling in for JR, and also he was a commentating with Mick Foley at the first One Night Stand show in 2005. The ECW tribute show. The match was good. It's debatable saying this is match of the night. It was good. This is a barbed wire match because there's a lot of barbed wire in this match. You had Edge hits Foley with a spear. He was in pain after he hit Foley with the spear. His arm was bleeding. They found out Foley was wearing some barbed wire around his waist. That was good creative. There was good creative spots in this match. He was trying to hit Edge with the barbed wire bat. Lita jumped onto Foley's back, trying to lock him with the sleeper. Foley took that bump, clothesline Edge out of the ring. Him, Foley, Lita took that tumbling out of the ring. And also he kind of wrapped around barbed wire around Mr. Socko, hit Edge and Lita with mandible claws. I think Edge. If I look at, I think they bled to the mouth because because barbed wire is so razor sharp. And also there was a thumbtack spot. Foley really put Edge through the thumbtacks. It's not on the same level as Foley countered the RKO attempt by Randy Orton in their hardcore match at Backlash 2 years ago in 2004. And also we got one of the most famous spots. You can see in multiple video package in WWE. You had Lita set the table on fire. Edge spears Foley off the ring apron. They went through the table. Edge was shaking. You know, he was bleeding buckets because after he took like the because Foley hit Edge with the barbed wire bat. Yeah. And Edge pins Mick Foley to win this match. Yeah, he's selling the injuries, the effects of the fire. And also the fans cheer for Mick Foley, you know. And also, it's really funny though, because at the time, you know, the reason why Foley's putting over Edge, because he's at this moment of the time, Mick Foley was a semi-retired pro wrestler. As for this thing with Edge and Mick Foley, they end up teaming up, becoming the Cold Hardcore champions, unretired the Hardcore title. This was because at the time it was basically Rage against ECW, because later on in the year, in the summer, ECW came back as the third brand and set up, a mixed tag team match at 1X10 2006. Edge and Mick Foley and Lita taking on Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Bull McGillicuddy. I'll review 1X10 2006 in this summer, because it's very close to the 15th anniversary of, ECW coming back as a third brand, and also that show 1X10 2006. Don't know about December to December 2006. Never say never. Who knows? So, yeah. So moving on to the next match, that's match number 5. We got Booker T versus the Boogeyman with Sharmell in his corner. We got Goldust as a cameo. I never knew Goldust came back because he had a run in TNA. You had Goldust wearing this like strange costume and whispered Booker T in the ears like, "You're a freak." Because everyone knows why they did that, because Booker T and Goldust had history. They were a former tag team partners. I think they were tag team champions in the start of the Ruthless Aggression era. That was way back in 2002. So this was just a comedy match. Boogeyman is basically one of the most strangest, disgusting gimmicks in pro wrestling history. It's just a guy eating worms. We saw that in this match. He basically had Boogie reach his pockets, grab like a tongue of worms, put worms in his mouth. I was puking. That is sick. And also kissing Sharmell in the face. That was funny. With the worm breath. The one breath of Boogeyman, and also Sharmell left the ring screaming. That was funny. In the end, Boogeyman hit Booker T with the I think it was a choke slam and a powerbomb combo to it was just basically just a comedy match, nothing special. I think like Booker T has the last laugh because at Judgment Day he ended up winning the King of the Ring and also becoming King Booker and also winning the world title from Mysterio. A bit of a spoiler, I don't really give a shit. Wins the world title at Great American Bash 2006, later on in the year. So moving on to, that was match number 4. Match number 5, we got, Trish Stratus versus Mickie James. This was good. This is the rematch from not 1X10, New Year's Resolution 2006. Trish defeat Mickie for the title on that show. It started in late 2005, or really in the autumn of 2005, when Mickie James made her debut for the company. She had some runs in the early 2000s, in the 2002, 2003 period before returning in 2005. It's not like she's kind of like proper new in the company. Anyway, so she kind of like returned in the company as this fangirl of Trish Stratus, stalker, kissing Trish Stratus, dressing up like Trish one time, and also this segment with trying to like seduce a man or pretending like that man trying to rape Mickie. Because Mickie has this psycho gimmick. This is years before AJ Lee dubbed as the crazy chick. Psycho chick, crazy chick. Crazy and psycho is a little bit the same. Anyway, so on an episode of Saturday Night Main Event, Mickie turned on Trish, hit her with a chick kick. And also on a Raw, she kidnapped Ashley Masario and hit Trish with the Stratusfaction. She dropped her on her head. It was a way to get heat, to build up the match on the show. Anyway, the match between Trish and Mickie James. Trish held that title for nearly 1 year because she won the title from Leah at the first New Year's Resolution show in 2005. And fans were booing Trish Stratus. I don't know why they booing her. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. So out of the three title matches between Mania 21 and Mania 23, this was the best. You know, the women's title match in Mania 21 between Trish and Christy Hemme sucked. And then the match at Mania 23 2 years later between, I think it was Melina and Ashley Masario, same shit. This was the best. I can't. It's very debatable to say this is. People say this is the best women's match ever. I don't think so. There's a lot of great women's matches in the past, but this I can't really say. But anyway, it was a good match for what it is. The bulk of the match, you had Mickey working on the leg of Trish Stratus because Stratus trying to hit Mickey with the kick. Mickey got out of the way. Trish hit the ring post, and then Mickey worked on the leg of Trish Stratus. Mickey countered the Stratus faction attempt on the top rope. In the end, Trish was going for the Stratus faction. Mickey kind of grabbed Trish behind like a groin area. She was about to hit the move, but her knee buckled. Mickey hit the chick kick to win this match and become the new women's champion. I think it's her first of three, I guess, or first of four. Also, because she also became Divas champion in her first run with the company. It's funny that, like, in our current timeline, Mickie James has just released from the company. And I think they are friends to this day, Trish Stratus and Mickie James. I think it's kind of like the changing of the guards because I might be wrong about this. I think, Mickie dropped the title back to Trish, and then Trish retired later on in 2006. You can tell this is basically changing of the guards because her and Leah retired that year, and then women's wrestling will be shit for. It'll set back a decade until the women's revolution in our current timeline. Anyway, so yeah, it was a good match. So that's match number 6. Match number 7, we got The Undertaker versus Mark Henry. This is a casket match. Mark Henry interfered in the No Way Out rematch between Kurt Angle and The Undertaker for the world title. He put Taker through the announce table, set up a casket match on the show. Standard match wasn't terrible. The Booker T Boogeyman match, that was crap. This was okay, but nothing special. It's just a standard match. Undertaker matches, gimmick matches, they turn out to be hit or miss. Nothing special. Undertaker, hit like that pattern dive. Is it the first time he did it? I don't think he did. It's the first of many he does. The pattern dive. Undertaker is one of the best athletic big men in pro wrestling history because he's a big man, but sometimes he moves like a cruiserweight. He does like the pattern dives, and also with the old school. I think when he hit the pattern dive onto Triple H, I felt it was the last time he hit the dive. He never did the dive ever since. Anyway, Mark Henry was doing I think he hit him with the World's Strongest Slam. He also hit Taker with the metal, like the punches. And Taker managed to pick up Mark Henry, hit him with the last ride. Undertaker was freakishly strong against Mark Henry because Mark Henry weighed about 400 pounds. 380, close to 400 pounds. And afterwards, in the end, he hits Mark Henry with the Tombstone Power Driver, put him in the casket, and Undertaker won this match, and he became 14-0 at WrestleMania. This is the weakest match of the streak in the decade. I'm talking about the 2000s compared to the 90s. Undertaker had really crap matches off the streak in the 90s compared to his matches in the 2000s. They were not bad matches. I compare it to, it's on the same level as, the handicap match at Mania 19, between Taker versus Big Show and A-Train. They're not bad matches, but they're just nothing special matches. So that's match number 7. Match number 8, we got Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon. This is a no-holds-barred match. It started in late 2005 over Bret Hart, because Bret kind of publicly apologized for the WWE after, the events at the Montreal Screwjob, at Survivor Series in 1997. They released I think it was a DVD of Bret Hart, and also that's why Bret Hart got inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2006. I think they were going for Bret versus Vince. Unfortunately, Bret kind of declined because, for one, he's not really in ring condition, and two, it's been like 2-3 years after the stroke of Bret Hart he had. That could be the reason. He's still on bad terms with Shawn Michaels, but they had that match 4 years later at Mania 26. So So it's Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon. So it's over when at this time they had a polarizing bad storyline. Vince McMahon versus God against religion. He wants to screw Shawn Michaels, what he did to Bret Hart, and he wants the old Shawn Michaels, the pill popper, because at the time in the 90s, in the Attitude Era, Shawn Michaels had like really a personal problem, I think he had a drug problem, alcohol problems, he turned to God, he was a born again Christian. And yet Shawn says, you're, was it CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, it's about time to grow up. And he had Vince and Shane made Shawn Michaels' life a living hell. I think he distracted him, eliminated Shawn at that year's Royal Rumble match. Cost him matches. He had Shawn joining the Kiss My Ass Club. They at Montreal, screw job, did the screw job at the Saturday Night Main Event episode. I think it was a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. Yeah, in a match between Shawn and Shane, Vince did the, ring the bell, reenact the Montreal screw job. It's been a decade since that event at Survivor Series. They always do that, it's not new, it's just like, I know it's just a work, it's not really a shoot. I think the screw job was an actual shoot, an actual screw job, anyway. Vince was really tan, oiled up, and always has that crazy physique because he's still, to this day, he's still fucking jacked. Because he's still working out, that's not a 70, 60-year-old man look like. Anyway, the match was, it's debatable, it's still a good match, but a bit overbooked with the Spirit Squad coming down, beating down, Shawn Michaels. Michaels got his comeback, hitting each other members of the Spirit Squad with the there was a cone with the dud cone. Yeah, it says dud. If you're a nerd, smacking the with the Spirit Squad members with the cone. You had Shane coming down, hitting Shawn with a candlestick. You had some belt shots with Vince and Shawn hit each other with the belt, and also they were teasing like Shawn's gonna rejoin the Kiss My Ass Club. But instead, Shane end up joining that club. The Kiss My Ass Club. You have to kiss Vince McMahon's ass. Basically, Shawn put Shane's head into Vince's ass, and also handcuffed Shane on the ropes for the whole bulk of this match. Yeah, it's basically Shawn being down Vince McMahon. This is basically Shawn Michaels' personal hell, and he did like this spot. There's one spot he climbed this tallest ladder, did the DX chop. I think he placed like a trash can onto Vince McMahon's head, did the diving elbow off the ladder, put Vince through a table. I think he did another crotch chop. That's hinting like it's going to be the return of DX. It was been nearly a decade since the group was formed, and also hit Vince McMahon with the switching music to win this match. And also, before really in the beginning moments of the match, you had Shawn hit Vince with a picture of Vince McMahon. He was at the time he was on the cover of Flex magazine, and I think and really funny, decades later, I think like a decade later in 2015, he was in a cover of was it Muscle and Fitness at the age of 70, very close to 70. He's still fucking really. He's got this most freakish physique in pro wrestling history, Vince McMahon. So. The rivalry continued in the whole of 2006, into the summer of 2006. The next month of Backlash, they had I think it was a tag team match. I think it was Vince and Shane taking on Shawn Michaels and God, because like I said, they're doing the whole Vince McMahon versus religion. That is another pulverizing storyline in pro wrestling history. It led to the Spirit Squad interfered. That led to JR saying, "Oh, that's bullshit." And I didn't say another reaction of Joey Styles. I'm going to slightly go back to the Edge McFoley match. When Edge hit the spear on McFoley, you had Joey Styles saying, "Oh my God!" I've got to say that. But they kind of continue this rivalry with Shane, Vince, and Shawn Michaels, and soon to be Triple H. The reformation of D-Generation X. So moving on to match number 9. We got a triple threat match. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kurt Angle defended the world title against Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. Angle won the world title on an episode of SmackDown after Batista faked the title. But Batista also showed up on the show in a segment with Randy Orton. He can confront Mean Gene Okerlund. How's an announcer like you for 35 years, inducted in the Hall of Fame for holding a microphone? And Mean Gene says, "Give me a break." I like Mean Gene. He's like he always mouth off to the heels. You don't see that in today's interviews in pro wrestling. And also, you had Batista confronting Orton, says, the winner of that match will carry that title when I come back, because Orton, Batista never lost the world title. He faked the world title after he got injured by Mark Henry. So yeah, you got Angle won the world title on SmackDown. Rey Mysterio won the World Heavyweight Championship, not World Heavyweight Championship. A bit of a spoiler, but he won the Royal Rumble match to face the World Champion at WrestleMania. And also, yeah, speaking of another pulverizing storyline, they kind of explained the death of Eddie Guerrero. Like I said, it's been a few months since the death of Eddie. Yeah, Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio building their match in No Way Out says, Eddie is Orton with that remark says Eddie's not in heaven, he's in hell. It was going too far, and it's just like it was not organic. It was felt forced, and Rey Mysterio, got his title chance back because he lost his title opportunity to Orton at No Way Out. So, and also fans were booing Rey Mysterio because I think he's more appealing to kids, and also exploiting the death of Eddie Guerrero. The reason why he's won the Rumble match of 2006 because the death of Eddie Guerrero. So he entered this ring, into this match. He came out with POD singing his theme music. I don't like that version of Rey Mysterio's theme music. It's like Piaka Piaka 619. I like the on-beat version of it. That's just me. So yeah, the match between Angle, Orton, and Mysterio, it was a fun triple threat match. It's not on the same level as the triple threat match from Mania 20 between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. It was fun for what it is. You had moments of the match, you had Angle trying to make Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton tapping out, and it got stopped by really like Orton and Mysterio holding down the referee while like Orton and Mysterio tapping out the ankle lock. There's one spot, Ray was going for like a move, like a Hurricanrana. He did like a tag team combo, like Angle throwing Ray onto Orton, onto the top rope, and did like Hurricanrana off the top rope. That was a cool spot. Angle kicked out the RKO attempt by Randy Orton. In the end, Rey Mysterio hit the 619 and the West Coast pop onto Randy Orton to win this match and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, I think they cheered for Mysterio in the end, but they were booing Mysterio. Yeah, like I said, maybe it was explain the death of Eddie, or even like the more appealing to kids. Yeah, this was the beginning of the end of Kurt Angle in WWE because his final feud in his first run in the company was against Randy Orton. They had the match at 1X10 2006. I think they had the match at Vengeance. That was Angle's last match, his last pay-per-view match before leaving the company. He basically left on bad terms, butting heads with Vince McMahon. That was the rumors back in the day. Before spending 10 years in TNA and then becoming a multiple-time world champion, because that was his last title reign in WWE ever. Because he won more titles in TNA. He came back in 2017. Ducked in the Hall of Fame, become the Raw GM. Had more matches with the shit with Baron Corbin and teaming up with the, Rollins and Ambrose, to face Miz and The Bar and Strowman. So, yeah, and as for Rey Mysterio's world title reign, flopped. It flopped because after that he ended up losing matches with Great Khali and Finlay and Mark Henry. I think the most important win for Rey as world champion was against JBL at Judgment Day, the first SmackDown after WrestleMania in May, and then the final blow to his reign was at 1X10 2006. It was a double countout against Sabu, and then he ended up dropping the world title to Booker T at Great American Bash that year after the help by Chavo Guerrero, so their rivalry between Chavo and Rey. So yeah, it was a fun match, to watch. It was short. Anyway, moving on to the next match, trying to keep it short and simple. We got Tori Wilson taking on Candice Michelle. This is a Playboy pillow fight. You can call it a bra and panties match. You had like each woman ripping each other's like undergarments off, and then you had like Candice cutting off the costume of Tori Wilson. In the end, you had Tori rolled up Candice for the roll up for the win. So move on to the main event. Main event, we got John Cena defending the WWE Championship against Triple H. Triple H won a Road to WrestleMania tournament to face Cena for the title at WrestleMania, because Cena, this is his second title reign, because he defeated Edge at the Royal Rumble after Edge defeated him at New Year's Resolution. Jesus Christ, I'm comparing No Way Out to New Year's Resolution. Jesus Christ. So anyway, so this is the first time they fought one-on-one between John Cena and Triple H. And they came out with costumes. You know, Triple H came out dressed up like Conan with the throne. And funny that at Double or Nothing in 2019, 13 years later, preparing for the match between Cody and Dustin Rhodes. This was at the first AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. Cody destroyed the throne with the sledgehammer. And also, he dressed up like a doofus. And also, he has that tash. And this is the reason why CM Punk called Triple H the doofus son-in-law. This was part of his pipe bomb promo in 2011. And also, Cena dressed up like a gangster, Chicago gangster. You know, there was gangsters driving a gangster car, and one of these gangsters were CM Punk, a Chicago native. He also was part of the company at the time. He was still part of OVW. He ended up called up to the main roster when he was part of the ECW third brand later on in the year. He ended up becoming John Cena's future rival. You know, they'll fight each other in the same arena at Money in the Bank in 2011. The fans were booing. This match is not focused on... It was not memorable for the wrestling. It's more focused on the crowd reaction, because this was the start of the Super Cena push. It was the start of the Super Cena push. It started in 2005, but I think 2006 was really the proper start of the hype of the Super Cena phase, you know, the push. Because he was getting booed out of the arenas. He's getting booed on the show. He got booed later on at 1x10 2006 in the match between him and RVD, but the fans were booing John Cena. You can tell, like, Cena's more appealing to kids. He's not really for the men, it's more for the women and the kids. Yeah, this match was more famous for the reaction, you know, cheering for Triple H and booing for John Cena. It was just punching kicks. Cena suplexed Triple H onto the metal ramp of the stage. I think Triple H hit Cena with the spine buster, and there was a referee bump. I think Triple H hit Cena with the sledgehammer. I think he kicked out of the FU attempt. Cena, in two separate occasions, locked Triple H with the STFFU. Triple H managed to reach the ropes. In the end, Cena locked in the submission hold again. Triple H tapped out, and Cena retains the title. That was shock. And also, I don't think Triple H hit the pedigree onto Cena. It's not like there was no kick-out overload in this match. You know, it's just like what it is, you know. They had a rematch a couple weeks later on Raw. Triple H got his win back. You know, I think Edge helped them. That set up a triple threat match. And then at Backlash between Cena, Triple H, and Edge. And then they went on their separate ways. I'll tell you, I'll explain the aftermath a little bit shortly. Compared to the two main events between Cena and Michaels at 23 and this match between Cena and Triple H at the main event of Mania 22, I think that match at Mania 23 between Cena and Michaels was a bit better than this. I think the difference is, you know, in the end of the main event of Mania 23, it was better off having Shawn Michaels winning the title from John Cena, you know, letting the fans leave in the arena happier, because at the time, you know, the fans hating John Cena. Mania 23, Mania 20, and to right now, people just do not like John Cena. But let's be honest, who wants to see Triple H really winning the title on the show? Who wants to see Triple H winning the title on the show? Because he's been in a lot of WrestleMania main events in the whole bulk of the Ruthless Aggression era. You know, he also had a lot of mediocre, under-deliver WrestleMania main events in the past in his WrestleMania career, because he had a disappointing main event against Chris Jericho at Mania 18. It's a debatable for his match with Booker T for the world title at Mania 19. He had a disappointed, really, it was an okay match with Batista at Mania 21, and then, Orton at 25, Lesnar in 29, Taker at 28, Reigns in 32. He had a lot of mediocre shit WrestleMania matches, Triple H, but this was, I say the top three. I think the best one has to be, Undertaker Triple H from Mania 17, the No Holds Barred match at Mania 27, and this match between him and Cena at Mania 22. After, like I said, after they had the triple threat match a couple weeks later at Backlash, and then they went on to their separate ways. You funny that like Triple H ended up teaming up with Shawn Michaels, reforming one of the best duos in pro wrestling history. D-Generation X feuding with McMahon. Edge helping RVD winning the title from Cena at 1X in 2006. That set up what really series of good matches later on in 2006 in the spring, in the summer or the autumn of that year. Including the TLC match at Don't Forget. It set up not just the best rivalry, not just in the year, but it set up one of the best rivalries in the Ruthless Aggression era. Between John Cena and Edge. 2006 for me, people say it's a bad year. This was the start when pro wrestling's going in. Really, WWE's really is end up in the shitter. But let's be honest, I think it was a downgraded year because 2005 is the best year of the Ruthless Aggression era. I think this is kind of like the second place. I place it. It takes the silver medal. So anyway, so my final rating for WrestleMania 22 is a 8 out of 10. Oh, yeah, you can call it 9, but I'm going to give it 8. This was out of the 3 WrestleManias. I think this, between 21 to 23, this is number 1. Number 2 is 23. And I think 21 is the weakest. So, the only thing in the bad has to be Booker T versus the Boogeyman. And the Playboy pillow fight between Tori and Candice Michelle. Besides that, the 2 matches in the OK were the tag team title match and Undertaker versus Mark Henry in the casket match. As for the good, there's a lot of good in this match. There's more good than bad on this show. Like, you got Money in the Bank 2, you got Benoit versus JBL, that was decent. Trish versus Mickey for the women's title. You got the Triple Threat World Title match. We got John Cena versus Triple H in the main event for the WWE title, and Vince versus Shawn in the No Holds Barred match. So, it's very debatable if this WrestleMania is in the top 10, but you can put it like top 12, but top 10, it's a bit debatable. So, anyway, so hope you enjoy my review of WrestleMania 22. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, subscribe to the Central Night Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, and more. Next time, I'm going to take a bit of a break of reviewing classic WWE pay-per-views, because I've been doing it for nearly a year, me reviewing classic WWE/WWF pay-per-views to review. It'll be 2 weeks off, taking a bit of 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks, next time I'll review a classic WWE or WWF pay-per-view to review will be late April, early May, so the next time I'm going to review will be Backlash 2001. Oh boy, we got 2-man power trip, Austin Triple H versus Undertaker and Kane, Duchess of Queenberry match between Regal and Jericho, Shane versus Big Show, and more. This is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later. And this is my review of WrestleMania 22. This is a thumbs up of a pay-per-view.